one thing I wanted to ask was when we're discussing synthetic is the conversation of pH. I think you guys touched on it lightly at the very beginning.
Syn-ganics with pH. I didn't think about that.
A good one.
This is something that I wanted to ask about because as someone who uses synthetic, pHing your medium is very important. pHing your pHing both. pH is very important. When you're talking organic, I wouldn't say it's not important, but it's not necessarily as much of a concern because you've got that system going on in your pot. Would you be concerned about the pH of your synthetics or anything for that matter going into your pot, into your media?
I think if you have a super soil and you're adding something into it, no. If you have a regular soil,
You define a super soil, please.
something that has a living environment essentially in there. You're having your beneficial bacteria, microbes, all of your food, your micros and macros, your battery pack being there. Is there probably better
For the
definition?
entire grow, like it's a water only. You
Yeah,
create
it's a water
this
only.
super soil, something that's gonna have all the nutrition you need in for the entire grow.
Water only, I think, is probably the key point there.
So let's say
Sorry, go ahead.
if you then now are low on nitrogen and you want to add some sort of nitrogen-based supplement in, everything in your soil should have enough to buffer that pH. If it's a little too high when you're measuring it in your bucket, so to speak, take care of it. Now on the other side of things, if you have a synthetic setup and you're adding one or two inputs of organics like alfalfa, it's not necessarily you're guaranteed that your pH is just spot on because of the one piece. You need that the buffer and the environment, the ecosystem you create in the soil to work for it. So I feel like one side you may need to still pay attention if it's primarily synthetic with a couple organic inputs. Like now you're just adding stash blend in doesn't mean that you don't have to look at your pH with your base nutrients now. You know, if that makes sense.
People
Made
are
sense to
still,
me.
yeah. Some people are still keeping their eyes on pH and monitoring the pH when growing syngenically, and it depends on a couple things. Are you starting out in a cocoa with perlite and using synthetics, and then later on going to organics? Well, then, yeah, you're gonna have to manage that cocoa like you would with synthetic nutrients because you haven't hit it with any organics yet. Where was I going with that?
Well, it's similar to Mr. Canuck's cocoa, but using synthetic or not synthetic.
Well, he adds in nutrition. Yeah. So
And he just
he's
water it
actually
in.
creating a soil.
That's what I'm saying.
You
So
know,
he's-
it's a
he's creating
cocoa-based
life.
soil. Instead of using like a peat, he's using cocoa. He's adding in fertilizer. He's adding word castings. He's turning it into actually a soil. And yeah, he does monitor his pH in his case. Generally speaking, for Syn-ganics, a lot of people will be anywhere from 5.5 to 7 is kind of the general range, right? So if you're mixing up your nutrient solution, I know some mixtures have a very low pH, that final thing, where it can be 5.0, 5.2, 5.4. You might want to adjust the pH up and then hit it in. Some people will. Others swear that, hey, that's going to potentially throw things off. If you're feeding in nutrient solution that's lower outside of that range, that could certainly throw things off, especially if you're used to a 6.5 to 7.0 because you've got a bunch of organics in the medium. So yeah, something is, people keep an eye on pH. Others will ignore it completely. They will ignore it completely. They'll let the soil figure it out. They understand that the plant releases acids in order to adjust the level of the pH in the rhizosphere, the area directly outside of the roots, and that'll make nutrients available for the plant to uptake. So that's been happening. The microbes in the medium are also adjusting or impacting the pH movement in the medium as well. So yeah, some people are hands off and some people are more hands on.
If somebody was, real quick, suffering from a pH issue, what are some of the immediate signs that you would look for from the plant? Because if from the pot itself, let's say you just don't have a pH meter, or you do, but you didn't catch it. You did need to mod that pH solution or that solution. Sorry, let me try again. You did need to pH the solution before you put it in, and something happened. Do you guys have any clear indicators that tell you it's a pH issue?
It's a pH issue. Well, it's similar in that case.
pH fixed.
What was that?
You could read the plant. It tells it to you.
Tell me.
Well, I was gonna say it's similar to just like Syn-ganic synthetic or organic, to where it's like you're going to have to do the research and figure out, is it a pH issue or not, right? You're going to see deficiencies potentially, right? And you can't just assume that there's a lack of nutrition in the medium. So at that point, oftentimes when you run into a problem, these folks are checking the pH. Is it out of range or is it within range? If it's within range, well, then is there enough nutrition in the medium? So they got a TDS test, or they're doing a runoff test or a slurry test to get an idea of what the ppm or the EC is, and then they're making a decision whether or not they're adding in nutrition, or if it's truly a pH issue and they need to do something, whether it be flush or add in something that's going to increase or lower the pH. So yeah, there's some investigation you have to do because it can be different depending on what you got going on.
You definitely want to understand the idea of the pH meter or the scale as well. When I saw that scale and I saw the nutrients lined up next to each other,
to see the
and
availability.
you see the availability, the potential hydrogen in all of these nutrients based on where you are from whatever 4 or I guess 0 to 7, I believe is the highest. Maybe there's a little higher, 8
pH scale?
pH.
You
What
get
what?
9, like
0 to
top.
14.
14.
14.
Okay, I honestly don't know.
Seven-
7's in the
you're
middle.
eating-
7's neutral.
Okay,
That's
7's
why
in
you're
the
getting cut
middle.
off.
Okay.
You're going to be killing your plant if you're going past 7.
Oh, of course. Sure. I only think of it up to 7 because that's my needs, but it's 14. It goes as high as 14. So it's like wherever you are, when you move that scale over, when you're on 6, you're at 7, you're at 9, you're taking in the more or less amount of nutrients based on where you are on that scale. That starts to make things a little bit clearer when you're trying to determine if you're having a pH issue.
What
you know,
could possibly be
maybe it's
deficiency
iron,
or toxicity.
potassium,
Yeah.
phosphorus, calcium, magnesium. Which one is it? And you could tell based on.
Great point. Yeah, you can look at one of those and you can Google that chart, nutrient availability chart, I believe. You Google that, it should come up and show you the pH scale and then give you a visual indicator of what nutrients are available, what pH. And yeah, you could, if you look at you see that you're deficient in calcium or whatever, it's like, okay, what pH is it more available versus less available? Okay, well, this could potentially be a calcium issue because of the pH not being available in that range.
Absolutely. I think that's been my biggest confusion in the past as a new grower, thinking that it was my fault of not having enough nutrients versus realizing it's my fault of the pH. It's learning how to read the plant, and that was my snickery little joke I had in the beginning, is the plant will tell you.
It'll tell you, I need help.
Help me. You'll see some of these signs once you start to understand the plant's biology and morphology and how it works. And botany is botany in a sense. You'll start to realize other plants in your house. You'll be like, oh, shit, there's calcium deficiency too. That's crazy. And the things that will overlap in terms of agriculture as a whole. And that's when you really start to understand your plant and can read these issues and can rely more on Syn-ganics, in my opinion, because you understand what to put in and what to take away versus just throwing the kitchen sink at it and hoping you're going to get good results.
And get quicker results.
Yeah. Or a lot of times immediate, because that's why people will do is say, I just need a bloom booster, so I'm just putting it in now.
Right.
Why aren't my buds bigger?
This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.